Well, Wild and Woolly Wordsmith here again. I believe this is post number 5. It's the 23rd of March. So, yeah. Yet another day in the quarantine zone in the land of Arizoniots. Get this. Germany's down to they don't want you to gather with groups of more than 2 people. Okay? We can't even get anything more than a recommendation to stay home and social distance here in Arizona. I think they're suggesting no more groups of more than 10. But it's still just suggestions. It's not some sort of order that you can get in trouble for. Or they're just starting to now. I guess if you have a gathering of more than 10, you can be cited. But it's just, put it this way. Not only that, they've decided that the ban isn't in effect in counties that don't have outbreak yet. That was what they were doing. But, these were also counties who hadn't done any testing yet. So how in fuck's name could you have any outbreak if you haven't done any testing? But anyhow, add to it that here in Arizona, because they weren't quite specific with the no more gathering, even when it was gatherings of no more than 50 people, and like I said, it's come down to 10, but the local swap meet here in Tucson, they decided that because nobody said anything about swap meets specifically, they weren't a bar and they weren't a restaurant, and they didn't consider themselves a gathering place where more than 50 people gathered. Why? Because each of those booths is a separate place, and they decided that you couldn't possibly get 50 people in anybody's booth, therefore they couldn't be breaking the rules. You fucking morons. You greedy fucking morons. Tank Verde fucking swap meet. Piss off. Fuck you. Shame on you. Oh my God. Not that the city of Phoenix was any better. Even the fucking Parks Department in Phoenix was telling people last week, go out and enjoy a hike on our city parks. And that's what you can do if you get stir crazy under this, social distancing. See, because that's all they had was social distancing. Had they been telling people to shelter in place, then it would have been counterproductive, and maybe they wouldn't have even thought to tell people to go hiking. But because they weren't ordering anybody to stay at home, and they were trying to figure out what people should do, where they could go where they couldn't gather in groups of 50 or more, and they decided to send them out to the hiking trails, where everybody's on the trails. Why? Because the rules are stay on the damn trail. Did you tell them to suspend the rules on the trails and that they're supposed to walk 10 feet off to the side of the trail? No, of course you didn't. Did you forget that, Phoenix is one of the fastest growing cities in the United States? Of course you did. You absolutely forgot that all these people would hear that and go, yeah, let's go to the park. Everybody with children, we're going a nature hike. And so you had what looked like a Klondike fucking gold rush of people nose to ass and backpack on the fucking hiking trails. Of course there was coronavirus transmission out there. There are only so many shady spots on those freaking hiking trails, morons. So you sent the entire public out there and decided, well, they'll opt to sit out of the shade so they can stay 6 feet away. Except that, everything we're trained to do between drinking water, sharing water, and, getting under the shade in these kind of circumstances to save yourself from heat stroke, kind of counterproductive to that staying 12 feet away when there's only 12 foot of fucking shade. But yeah, we sent them out, fucking Arizoniots. Fucking Arizona. You see this? Ducks, okay? In case anybody's confused. Now, I grew up in Oregon. I live here in Arizona now, but I wasn't bred for this kind of stupid. And it is stupid. They finally knocked it down to gatherings of 10, but it's still suggestions. They're not telling people that they have to stay home. And guess what? Overnight, we went from 152 cases to 240 some cases now. Or 200, yeah. 80, 90, more in just overnight. From last night's count at 152. Yeah, now we're closing in on 250. Good chance by the end of the day we will have doubled yesterday's numbers. And that is, we almost doubled the previous day yesterday. If we almost double today, we can probably see a pattern of, say 80% increase every day. Well, you want to graph that out? Some counties are pretty small. That'll chew up everybody. I just don't understand. I don't get it. Arizona, and now Trump's trying to say that at 14 days we're going to stop. No matter, basically, hey, we did our best and we've lightened the curve. The hospitals can probably handle it. So we got it down to the maximum amount of deaths the hospitals can handle. That's good enough. Let's go. We need the economy more than we need people. Oh, you see, here is where wage slavery and Republicans duped, in a lot of ways, a lot of people with their, the paid free labor will be ultimately more economic and more beneficial than slave labor. And they're right. Because you can just fire wage labor, let it die, and hire something else. But with slave labor, slaves were property. And I am not singing as a proponent of slavery. Far from it. I'm simply saying that wage slavery was a greasy trick they played on us. Because, my God, if you were, and again, maybe, a 3 to 5% death rate to disease amongst your slaves wouldn't be that big of a deal. I got news for you. It would be if it was cattle. If 3% of your cattle were going to die from a particular disease, you'd be looking for federal aid, rancher. And I got a hunch that back in those times when there were slaves and of all colors, even, and I know in Morocco they had white slaves, or Christian slaves, perhaps not white, Christian, that is really where the difference was. Then it was more religious incarceration than color. Well, not more, but it was an added component. But anyhow, yeah, I mean, God, at least the guy with slaves would be worried about protecting his property, his machinery, his means of production. You don't just let your machines die, you maintain them. In the corporate system, you let the machines die and you just get new ones. And you're not worried about their upkeep or anything. So, but anyway, that's off topic. What's crazy here in Arizona, like I said, they're still not doing any real quarantining, any real hard orders, other than ordering particular businesses that generally have crowds of over 50 to close, restaurants, bars, etc. Those have all been closed. But we haven't gotten to the close all non-essentials. And like I said, now Trump's trying to back down, trying to back off of it. At the same time, we've got the Republicans that have put forward a poison pill bill that gives all the money to the fucking corporations, and they're going to probably try and paint the Democrats as stalling and hurting the American people by not letting this money go. But, oh man, I hope all the American people are willing to hold out for 3 days so they can get, $2,000 an adult, every adult, not just working adults, not just businesses being given money in the hopes that they're going to pass on the savings to their employees. No, fuck that. This money needs to go straight to all citizens, because all citizens are affected. Gig workers are affected. Grandparents are affected. People with side jobs, side gigs. People that work for tips. You know, they can get unemployment, but man, they ain't getting their fucking tips. You know? So, it's just insane. Insane, insane, insane. Here in the land of the Arizoniots. Arizoniots, that's it, Arizoniots. Arizona plus idiot. Something in being sunbaked for your formative years must really mess you up. I have to get my fucking kids out of here quick. All right, this is Wild and Woolly Wordsmith checking out on day 5. wildandwoollywordsmith.com, Barbary Allen at .wordpress.com. See you tomorrow.